The school buys 44 tickets to a hockey game. So some tickets cost $35 and some tickets cost $45. The total cost of all these tickets was $1,710. So how many of each ticket were bought? So we have to establish, when we're doing these word problems, we have to establish our variables. Okay, so the variables are going to be found through that last sentence. So we're looking for the number of each ticket bought. So we're going to let x equal the number of $35 tickets, and we'll let y equal the number of $45 tickets. Okay, so the quantity, how many how many of each were bought, is what our variables are going to represent. So once we come up with our variables, we need to establish we have two unknowns. We need to come up with two relationships. So then we go back into the problem. So it says the school buys 44 tickets for a hockey game. Well, there's one of our relationships. We know that all the tickets add up to $44. So the number of tickets, x, plus the number of tickets, y, equals a total of 44 tickets. Okay, so there's one relationship right there, 44 tickets. The second relationship is going to be this one here. We know that the total cost was $1,710. So we need to come up with a relationship using x and y, the number of tickets, to come up with a total cost. So if x tickets cost $35, we know that 35 times the number of tickets is going to give us the cost of those $35 tickets. We know that $45 times the number of tickets is going to give us the cost of those $45 tickets. And we know that if we add that up, we're going to get the total cost of all the tickets. So once we've established the two variables and the two relationships, we can now go ahead and solve this by either elimination or addition subtraction. So I'm going to, let's see here, why don't we multiply here. So we're going to multiply equation 1 by 35. And we're going to end up with 35x plus 35y, and it equals, so that's going to be 12, well, it's going to be 1,400 and 140, so 1,540. Okay, I think that's correct. Okay, so we have those tickets. We're going to subtract those two equations. We eliminate the 35x's. We're left with 10 y's here. And when we subtract these, we're going to be left with $170. So y is going to represent the number of tickets. Looks like there's 17 tickets sold for y, for the $45 tickets. We're going to back substitute into equation 1 to solve for x. So we have x plus 17 equals 44. So the number of tickets for the $35 tickets that were sold end up being 27 tickets. Okay, so those add up to 44 tickets, and if we multiply this out, we should see that that adds up to $1,710. So for this example, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to first of all determine the quantities that we're looking for. So how many are mailed in Canada? Okay, so if we look at this, Bike Magazine mails out 20,000 magazines in US and Canada. It costs 15 cents to mail in US, 12 cents to mail in Canada, and the total cost is $2,685. So how many are mailed in Canada? So that last sentence again establishes our variables. So let x equal the number of magazines. Okay, so that's what we're looking for, how many, mailed in Canada. Okay, and then we can let Y equal then the number of magazines mailed in the US. Okay, so we've established our variables. We need to come up with two relationships. So 20,000 magazines, that's the number of magazines. So that's going to be our first relationship. The number of magazines in Canada, the number of magazines in the US add up to 20,000 magazines. Our second relationship is going to end up being the money. So how do we calculate the total amount of money being spent? So the total amount of money is $26.85, and that's based on 15 cents for every US, so we're going to, and 12 cents for every Canadian magazine. So we're going to do this. So we're going to make sure we convert the cents into dollars. So 12 cents times the number of mailed in Canada, plus 15 cents is a cost for every magazine mailed in the States, and together they add up to $2,685. Once we've established that, we can solve this. I'm going to do substitution in this case. So we're going to solve for y. Y is 20,000 minus x, and then I'm going to substitute in this equation 2 for that y value. And remember that we have to substitute, once we isolate one variable in one equation, we have to substitute into the other equation. So instead of y, we're going to use 20,000 minus x. And that's going to add up to our total cost there. Okay, so going ahead and solving this equation, we're going to end up with 0.12x plus 0.15. So that's going to be, it looks like, what will that be? 3,000. Okay, 3,000 times or minus 0.15x. And that's equal to $2,685. So combining like terms, we get negative 0.03x is equal to, in this case, we subtract 3,000 from both sides, so we end up with negative $315. Okay, divide both sides by 3. Okay, so that's going to end up being 105, and then add the 2 zeros on there. Okay, so we mailed 10,500 magazines to Canada, and for the US, we would mail 9,500. So we're going to subtract from 20,000. We're going to subtract the amount mailed to Canada, and the number of magazines works out to be 9,500 magazines to the US and 10,500 magazines to Canada.